We got about half the roof done with the Kilmat. We're going to show you what it takes to finish the rest before we slip our headliner in. But first this.
Hard bass.
I can't stop doing this. So real quick, just showing center line, and it looks like that beam is about right with right here. So now we got deadener on this side of the beam and no deadener on that side of the beam. So just coming over here. And then of course over here on the metal, no tinny sound anymore. Huge difference. Okay, instructions on the Kilmat: just peel it back partially and start sticking it to the roof or whatever you're putting it on so you don't get bubbles trapped in it. It's kind of like putting a decal on. The other thing they show is all of these little bubbles, these rectangular bubbles, they have to be pressed out with a roller or a putty knife or whatever. I tried using the putty knife and it wasn't as successful, so I ordered a roller on, I think it was Amazon, and I think the brand of this one was Noiko. And it says it's a 1.5 inch by 1/8, and it's all metal construction. Looks like it's got ball bearings on it. Pretty high quality item. So this should be good for a lot of applications. This will probably last me a lifetime. So what I'm going to do is try peeling this back like this. And I've already sanded the roof down and cleaned it. I got all of most of the old glue off that held up that amberlight blanket that had fallen down years ago. Find a spot to start. So with the paper partially pulled back, I'm going to pick a spot on the roof that I want to start, that I think it'll line up good with. And you don't have to like cover like 100% of it, but you want to get pretty close. So I'm going to start it like that. And let me see if I've got it lined up good. And I don't. So I'm going to carefully just peel it down a little bit. I want to line it up with this metal right here. That's the center brace. That looks pretty good. Let me go back over just a little more. That looked pretty good. We want that to be just like that. Okay. And then as I peel the paper back, this should line up pretty good. We're going to call that good enough. Okay. That's installed. We shouldn't have any bubble problems. Yep, that looks good. We're going to cut that off right there. All right, and some of these were kinked out of the box. I don't know why. So when you peel the backing off, you're going to have a little void behind there like that. But that should mostly press out with the roller when we get it on. I'm not too worried about that. But I do want this to line up properly so I've got a good fit. There's our void right there. It just kind of pressed in anyway. That's fine. We'll just come over. And if they overlap a little bit, it's not a huge deal. And if there's a little gap, I don't think it really matters. It sticks to itself. I think I've seen some people online that said that they actually could take, because it's a little on the thin side compared to like a Dynamat, you can go in and put a second layer on here if you want to make it quieter. On an overhead application that gets really hot, I'm a little concerned about adding too much overhead weight that it might come down like that amberlight blanket did. You probably could put 2 layers on, it wouldn't be a huge deal. And just showing here with the roller real quick, to get this to go on, you can see how I'm going to collapse these bubbles. Okay, sometimes when we get bubbles, if you can't get them out, what I've been doing is just poking holes in the bubbles. It seems to be an inevitable thing. You're going to get a bubble here and there. And it's kind of self-healing. So I'm not too worried about any of this stuff oozing out afterwards. And now I can get this bubble to come out. Yep, now it'll stick. Then I can take my roller and smooth it out. See, it doesn't seem to be oozing out from the holes. It's kind of self-sealing. Kind of seals itself shut. See, now I got that bubble out. Problem solved. Okay, so we pulled it into the garage because it just got too hot out there. We're having some fitment issues on the headliner. You can see that the headliner won't tuck underneath the corner of the rubber on the rear window here. And this piece right here sticks out way farther than the other side does, which tells me there is a problem. And that fits really nice. And it looks like where the cell panel is going to go, it's going to go right there. And that'll pretty much cover everything except for like a teeny tiny gap, which it probably had on the other headliner. So this corner right here and this area right here is cut differently than the other side is for some reason. I don't know why that is, but it is. That's like way off. I mean, you've got like about a thumb's width too much headliner board behind it, the ABS, and then they left a long tuft of vinyl on there. And I'm also having a hard time getting the thing to fold up and go up into the roof like I want it to. I don't know if I actually need to slit that vinyl in between there and allow that to fold up a little better. See how it's also wrinkling the vinyl material a little bit. Some of that would relax, I think, after it's in the heat. We had a couple of wrinkles here that formed when we pressed it into place. I think those will go away over time. It was a lot wrinklier yesterday. We let the car sit overnight. We also have some fitment issues over here. Of course, I got the sun visors out now, but even when I had them in, I cannot get the rubber to tuck around this headliner. It just seems like it's too long. And again, I don't know if it's because I can't get this to fully go up all the way and shorten the length. You know, like when I push on this, you know, that gives us a little more room, but it just doesn't seem to want to go. Okay, so here's where we are. We got the headliner held back up with the sun visors. And you can see over here, I have the tape on it now so it's harder to see, but the contours are way off on this headliner. So what I did is I taped where the headliner goes up to on the gasket. So that way I'll know when we get the headliner back out, I'll stick my finger up under this gasket and I'll be able to see how far the headliner can go before it causes a problem. And I'm going to have to peel the backing off, and once I have this headliner out, I'm just going to get my mic out and I'm going to measure from that edge of the blue tape out to where the rubber gasket ends, and then I'll know how short I can go on this, and then it won't be underneath the gasket. And I got a lot of trim work to do over here. The contour doesn't even match. It doesn't even go around the turn. I mean, it just goes down at like a 45-degree angle. It's not even curved. So not too cool. Okay, we got the headliner back out of the car, and just so we have a point of reference, I've got the shoulder harness bolt holes lined up perfectly on both sides. And rotating this around, I'm just going to show you where I'm at. You can see the edges line up perfectly in the rear. And that hole right there is where that little mounting tab was that broke off when I removed the headliner. And you can see there's a little bit of a line right here real quick. That's where the rubber overlapped the original headliner. So you see it doesn't stick in very far. Now, on the side I was having a problem mounting, coming up underneath, you can see this is significantly oversized compared to the factory one. See how it's rounded? This comes up to here, and there's a tuft of vinyl, but this plastic sticks out way too far. So that's going to have to be trimmed back about 1/4 of an inch right there to get that to fit underneath the rubber. And then just spinning this around real quick. You can see here why it wouldn't tuck around the corners. Look how much more plastic there is here from there to there. I mean, you're talking like almost an inch. And actually from there to there, that is about an inch. I'm hesitant to cut too much of this away right here, but also looking here, you can see we easily have a 1/4 of an inch extra coming up underneath here. You can see the overhang here. So we're about a 1/4 inch too deep all the way down the leading edge, and then we're easily a 1/2 inch or so off, 1/2 inch to an inch off on the ends where the stuff wraps around. And this one's, you know, broken up pretty bad, so it's hard to tell, but we'll come back over to this one. And you can see my windshield sun visor triangles are lined up pretty good right here. So this is about where this goes. And also note that the triangles, it looks like the triangles on the ABS headliner are a little smaller. I had a little trouble getting the screws in. So I'm going to open these points up a little bit on the sun visor triangles. But the main thing I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to get this contour fixed over here so I can get this to even begin to fit underneath the windshield gasket where it curves around. And I'm going to have to take about, it looks like to me, close to a 1/4 of an inch off the end here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this stuff up with a blow dryer or some kind of heat gun. And I'm going to have to peel all of this back, this leading edge. And I'm going to come in with a hot knife. I'm going to mark it, and I'll trim a little bit off the corner here, and I'll come in and I'll take about a 1/4 of an inch off the end here and just wrap the vinyl back around it, and that should allow this thing to slip right in. I'll do the same thing on this one corner on the passenger rear that wouldn't fit. I'm going to have to come in and peel this back a little bit, and we're going to have to remove almost a thumb's width of plastic right there to get that to fit in. And just noting that this thing is oversized on the ends. Now this does, when you compress it, this is going to shorten quite a bit. This will shorten as you mash it in, like I'm doing like right now. You can see this edge distance gets a little less when you compress this thing into the other one. So these edges I'm not too worried about. It looks like to me the trim will fit right over these, no problem. I probably won't even need the headliner clips, but I definitely have to go in and do a little bit of trim work so I can get this thing to work out. So I guess that's what they mean by having to remove the headliner and make adjustments. Alright, I got the vinyl peeled back, and we're just going to heat up a packing knife, cardboard knife. We're just going to come in here, and I'm just coming in here right here, and I'm just cutting this off, just melting it off, and then just peel it back. And we're just going to keep doing that. We're going to take about a 1/4 of an inch off all the way down, and then we're going to come in and 45 these a little bit with the hot knife. And I got to be careful about cutting through the vinyl on this part, because this is that corner where everything kind of tucks in. So I was real tempted just to take a cutoff wheel and cut it off, because I know when I used to recover these at the when I worked at a body shop years ago, we used to do headliners, and we would always just glue the fabric style headliner with the foam backing, and we would just cut it off about a 1/4 inch off the edges and leave it hang like that. We never wrapped it all around like that, but just in case I make a boo-boo or maybe cut a little too much off, which I doubt, I'm going to be able to wrap this around and cover everything up. So if there is a spot that's goobered, it will be covered up with the vinyl when it tucks underneath the gasket. So we're just going to try to take a 1/4 inch off and then go in and we'll see if it'll fit out. Just coming in and getting the last bit. We'll just come in while the knife's still warm and cut that foam too. Whoop. A little awkward. There we go. Got that loose. Alright, we're down to like the last 3 inches. Just peeling this down. Get in here. Go right down to the foam. Really nice, good and hot too. Just pulling that foam backing off of this as I peel it back. If I was peeling an apple core, I'd be doing pretty good. All right, let's hit this curve. Come right up on it. We're almost there. Home stretch. Like a knife going through butter. Just about got it. I gotta be real careful in this transition over here. I'm gonna bring this around and cut about that much of it off. And then I'm going to set it on top of the old headliner and see how it lines up. Ooh, I don't know if I'm going to get it in this last pass or not. I might have to heat it up one more time. It's making me work for it. We almost got this. Almost there. And bring it around just like that. Ooh, nice, really hot. Almost. We're getting there. We're getting there. Get that foam cut off. There we go. Just get one little itty bitty spot. We'll bring that off, and hopefully I didn't melt the hole in the vinyl. Nope. Look at that. Perfect. So just brought that edge around like that. Now what I could do with this vinyl peeled back is I can come up with this hot knife. Again, I'll have to heat it up a little more. Oh, pretty hot. This thing's hot all over. Ouch! I may just have to come in. That may not be a problem. But now basically, with this just about out of gas. So we took off almost exactly 1/4 of an inch all the way around. And here's the one that started over here. Right there. I probably could come take just a little more off right in here. That's what that's going to need. I'm probably going to do the same thing over here. But I think what we'll do, just to check my progress, is I think I'm going to set it on top of the old headliner and see how close I got it to size. Okay, you can see I haven't accidentally cut through the vinyl anywhere. And I have this lined up with the shoulder harness holes on both sides. So it's lined up pretty good. So if I lift this back, you can see my guesstimation was pretty good. I took 1/4 inch off, so it's underneath. You can see this lines up with the board pretty good. I might be just a tad short in some spots, which that won't make a difference. When I wrap the vinyl around this, it's going to make it the same length as the board. And coming back here, you can see, I think I got the contour pretty close on this one over here. You can see there's paper missing, but that's probably pretty close to where that would come out too. And then coming to the other side, I think I'm pretty close on that too. This is maybe just a tad oversized, which I don't think will matter. I'm going to try to test fit it with just removing maybe just a tad over 1/4 inch over that corner and then 1/4 inch overall. So I should be able to just take the vinyl and wrap it around the edges like that. As you can see, when I do that, it's exactly the same length. Now it's the same size from front and back. So that'll be just fine. And I'll just tape these back to test fit it. And I'll probably do the right thing and get some upholstery headliner glue and just glue those edges back down. And this should fit really good now. And just coming back over here, I don't know how well you guys can see it. I did go in with a Sharpie, a silver Sharpie, and marked where my indents were. And those line up, I think they line up perfectly with the holes for the holes that are already here. So I think I'm good on that too. I'll double check that before I drill them. But I think we're getting pretty close here to being done. So measuring from a reference point that are hopefully about the same. I've got the tape measure stuck in the sun visor triangle coming across diagonally. I'm getting 67 inches from that hole to the end of the rear here, and then going to the other side. Lining it up, coming over this way. I'm only 66 inches right here to the end. So we're going from 66 to 67. Let me get a better picture. Yep, just a tad over 67. So it's an inch longer from this corner over there than it is from that corner over that way diagonally. So it looks like I'm about an inch off on my measurement here for some reason. The other thing I'm noticing too, the way they cut these, they're not split in exactly the same manner on the corners, so they're not exactly even. I'm not sure it matters once they fold over like they're supposed to. You know, when they fold up like that in the car, that's the idea that it's supposed to do. So you got some leeway there, but there's definitely an issue here because this corner fit good inside the rear of the gasket of the car. This one doesn't fit, so I'm gonna have to just peel the foam back, and I'm gonna have to do the same deal that I did to the front. I'm gonna have to trim off probably at least 1/2 inch off of the end of this, so it's not pushing that rubber gasket out in the rear when I try to tuck it under. And just finishing up, just coming in here and just cutting the foam off the back of this one little edge I needed to get off. On the rear, we just about got it. I'll come in and just show you what I did. I just came in with the hot knife again, just cut this one corner off. Took about 1/2 inch off the tip right there. That should be enough to allow that to fit underneath the gasket like it's supposed to. We put it back in the car. Hi guys, just a quick update, and also too, hit like and subscribe if you're following this and you want to see how to install a headliner on this, especially if it's the Classic Industries, which is I think is actually the Acme ABS headboard, whatever you want to call it, headliner. I've had several fitment issues where it tucks up under the gaskets, tucks into the corners, up into the car. So I'm having to do quite a bit of rework to get it to fit nicely, which I think it will. But just hit like and subscribe. I'm just going to do a real quickie here to show you where I'm at, and then hopefully the next time you see this, we'll have this thing back together and we'll all be happy and smiling. Okay, we got it back in the car, and we were able to get the gasket to go over the headliner in the front, most of it. Over here, on both ends, it doesn't want to go. And I think part of it is because of the way this contour is right here. This is way off. You can see I already cut this a little bit, but this plastic sticks way down too far. Even when you push this up like this, you can see the corner sticking out there. It doesn't fit the same on this side as it does over here. This one has just a little bit of overhang, but you can see the brake is up a lot higher. It's more over this way, and over here it's way off. It doesn't fit right. So I'm gonna try trimming the inside of these where the vinyl tucks over it to try to get this to fit up in this corner better. And I think if that happens, then I think this contour, I think I've probably got the length okay all the way around. It's just that the way this thing, because it won't lay flat, it's not going to meet this contour up in here, all these compound curves, because this plastic's hanging down way too far. That's why it's not going to let it lay flat here. There's too much plastic hanging down here. So I'm going to have to come in and cut some of that back a little bit and radius it a little more. I don't want to take too much off because I want it to fit under the vinyl and not try to poke back out. But this definitely isn't going to fit right. I cannot get the rubber to go over this the way it is. And in the back over here, it fits better since I shortened it, but it's still, in the rear here, this still doesn't fit quite right. It's close, but I think I need to come in on this edge right here and take 1/8 off all the way around. I had shortened it, so it doesn't poke out too far on the bottom there, although I could probably still get away with taking another 1/8 off. I'm gonna come all the way around and take another 1/8 off. And this is still too long compared to the other side. I don't know why. This side fits really good, no problems. And so it's kind of weird. So this side doesn't fit good. Actually, both of these sides don't fit good for whatever reason. So hopefully this is centered like it should be. We can see our screw holes. Those look like those line up okay. So I think we're okay there. Yep, one there, and then one right over this way. You know, so I think we're in pretty good shape on that part. So I think the headliner's centered. I just don't think that, for whatever reason, it's not perfectly symmetrical. It just doesn't fit. So I think we can make it fit, but I got a lot more work to do. Okay, here's where we are. We got it back out. And what I'm noticing here, which I didn't really notice before, is you can see there's a gap here that on the factory cardboard one, and it doesn't line up with this one. They missed it by like I was guessing before. That's probably what that's probably close to an inch at the top here. But if you come over here, I didn't line this up very well either. Get this lined up. There we go. If you come up under here, you can see they got it right. You can see, of course, this headliner's falling apart, but these lines are right. You can see this bottom one here. They had the contour cut right on this side where it folds. For whatever reason, they didn't slit it exactly in the same corner on the other side. So that's why it doesn't want to fold down right and fit in the car. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my silver Sharpie, and I'm just going to come in here, and I got to make sure this is lined up good. I'm not sure I got this one. I'm off a little bit. There we go. That's about right. I'm going to come in here and mark this up like that. And I probably still need to radius that off. Yeah, just about like that probably. And that probably will get it. If I take, we're losing our template. If I take in here, I'm going to come in here and just trim that much off. And so hopefully when I tuck this under, I won't have so much plastic I'm trying to compress. It just won't, there's too much plastic there, that compound curve hitting the pillar. It's just forcing this thing up like this when you're trying to mash it down. So I'm going to come in and take some of this out a little bit at a time. And I have enough material here. I have enough fold over here. There shouldn't be an issue when this thing goes over with some of that plastic missing. I don't think it's going to throw this line off. You're still going to see a straight line going down. It's just going to make it fit better. But not that good of a fit. Not real impressed with that part of it. But I think we can still make it work and look pretty decent. Hope you enjoyed the Mopar drama. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We'll see you next episode. We'll get this thing back together.